What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. If you can believe it, we basically only have 2 weeks of college football left. We have week 13, 14, and then championship week, right? Week 12 is in the books. Some hilarious things happen looking at you, Louisville, this week. An even funnier thing almost happened looking at you, SMU. But we're going to talk about it. Here's last week's rankings. I'm not going to go through it and repeat it. But we will have a new doodoo tier. Every week we have a new doodoo tier. This week I think it's going to be Fran Brown's fake outrage. If you didn't know, Fran Brown has to pick something absolutely asinine and stupid to get pissed off about every week. First, it was Brent Key. They didn't. He said that they weren't good friends. Key wouldn't say they held wieners a long time ago, and he took offense to that. Then it was Virginia Tech's kicker practicing kicks, I guess, while their band was still out. He took offense to that. Then he took offense to himself for losing to, I forget who even he lost to, and he said soap's for winners. He didn't deserve soap, so he refused to bathe that night, even though he's married with kids. So this week's doo-doo's tier will be Fran Brown's fake outrage because it is stupid and silly. Let's just get into it. Now, we won't be talking about me. Tech was on a bye. Tech had a full bye week to enjoy that win over Miami at Bobby Dodd. Obviously, rushed the field. It was fun. And we'll have 2 weeks because we'll have this whole week too. We got NC State this week, though. I can't be thinking we're overlooking them. First game on here, Virginia at Notre Dame. Virginia's 5-5 right now. He was on everyone's Tony Elliott was on everyone's hot seat list. Virginia's really overperformed this year, in my opinion. They beat Boston College, they beat Coastal Carolina, they beat Wake, they beat Richmond, and they beat Pitt last week. Lose to Notre Dame 35-14. They do have 2 games left. So they've either got to beat Virginia Tech or SMU. They get SMU at home, but Virginia Tech's on the road, so tough sledding there. But you know what? I'm rooting for Virginia. I've said I'm partial to Virginia. I would love for them to beat SMU next week, to be honest. And I have selfish reasons for that. That being said, Virginia, I mean, if they make a bowl, we'll bump them to average. They got some bad losses on here. I don't think, they're even an average Power 4 team at this point. And as far as Notre Dame, they get the benefit of playing basically a short ACC schedule without being in the conference. And that's for money. I mean, that's a TV thing. Let me throw this out there and tell me if you guys agree. I think every Power 4 team should refuse to schedule Notre Dame from now on until they join a conference. Yep. If we have you scheduled basically 2026 and on, we're not scheduling you anymore. And I think that would solve that problem real quick. Anyways, what could have been the most hilarious outcome, Boston College on the road at SMU had a chance to win this game, was up in this game. Didn't they have the ball with 2 minutes left? Down a score, or they could have taken the lead. I think they did. I mean, Jennings, SMU's quarterback, showed out 24-35, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns. It just pisses me off that this is SMU's first year in the conference, and they're running it. They're undefeated in the ACC. Does that clinch? Who does SMU have left? They got Virginia and Cal, so I guess they haven't clinched an ACC title berth yet. They probably do if they beat Virginia next week. They've got Cal after that. But look, got to give it to SMU. I probably should do a video of things that I was flat out wrong about. SMU, one of them, obviously ACC championship contender and number 1. I don't think they're a national title contender, though. Just going to be honest with you. I don't think anyone in the ACC is a national title contender. I would be shocked if the ACC will get 1 team in. It'll be whoever the conference champion is. So just got to keep it real with that one. Boston College is awful. Boston College, benches Casanellos, who'd been phenomenal for them. His biggest problem was he was a turnover machine, gets benched because he's probably averaging 3 or 3.5 turnovers a game. And then he said, "You can't bench me if I quit. I quit, moron." And hit the portal. Awful look. Not a single decent Power 4 team, not named Florida State, will even give this guy a look. Florida State might. Florida State, they have, who do they have? They were on a bye this week, right? They didn't play this week. Florida State might give them a chance. They've got a nobody that hurt Travis Hunter last year, and Florida left. Florida State will most likely have 2 wins without a single ACC win. They will not have a single ACC win because I don't think they have a single. They're done with conference play. Absolutely hilarious. In fact, they're on a bye, but obviously we know they go in the tier. And Boston College is bad. They're just a bad team. All right. This week's ha-ha moment. Louisville losing on the road to Stanford. Stanford has 3 wins. Louisville's one of them. Stanford has 2 ACC wins. Clown Brown and Louisville are one of. Louisville with 4 losses now, 3 ACC losses. And this is what pisses me off as a Tech fan, you know. They beat us. But Tech made so many mistakes in that game, and to Louisville's credit, they took advantage of it, right? I think Tech held them to like 17 points offensively. The rest of it was blocked field goal return for a touchdown, Haynes King basically fumbling for a touchdown. But Louisville will be on. I haven't even seen the rankings. They won't be ranked. I'll keep them as average. There's some bias in there, but they're going to be at the bottom tier of they'll be back here. They'll be back here somewhere. Next game, Clemson at Pitt. This came down to the wire. Clemson basically, Cade Klubnik, who I don't think has had a run for more than 20 yards all year. He probably has, but I can't remember it. Takes off for like a 50-yard touchdown run to seal this game. Pitt now, are they on a 3-game losing streak? I think Pitt's on a 3-game losing streak. They are. They lost to SMU. They lost to Virginia. They lost to Clemson. And they could lose on the road to Louisville next week too. Pitt, man. Pitt goes from being undefeated to 3 straight losses. You got to put Pitt. We'll put them as average, and we'll put them above Louisville. That's what we'll do. Clemson, obviously an ACC championship contender. I think they only have the 1 ACC loss to Louisville. I mean, think about this. Louisville beat Clemson. Stanford beat Louisville. Is Stanford better than Clemson? No. Transitive property doesn't work, right? But dang, is it Yardle? Is that their quarterback's name? Threw for 350 and a touchdown. So he got his yardage in. They just weren't able to, convert those yards into points like they needed to. Clemson only needed 24 points to win this game. Shout out to the Clemson Tigers. All right, the Syracuse Fighting Fake. Man, that's too. The Syracuse Fighting Fake Outrage Fran Browns did get one over on Cal. Cal 5-5, 1-5 in the ACC. Where's all the Cal fans that were saying that I was too low on them? I wasn't giving them enough respect. You have one ACC win. Who's Cal's one ACC win to? Wake. You beat Wake 46-36. Okay. But Cal loses 33-25 to Syracuse. By the way, Kyle McCord has thrown for 3,476 yards, 24 touchdowns. Unfortunately, he's been a turnover machine. Starting with Pitt, has thrown 12 picks. But Syracuse 7-3, and you got to give as much as we make fun of Fran Brown. No one who's not a Syracuse fan had them winning 7 games this year. No one. Good win for them. Are they mathematically out? With 3 losses, they got to be, right? Syracuse average team. Man, you got to put them above Pitt now. Got to put them above Pitt. But Pitt beat the brakes off of them. Hold on. This is getting difficult to do. But Pitt's lost 3 games in a row. I don't know. We'll keep it like that for now. Cal's bad. They're not as bad as Virginia. Well, I don't know. I think Virginia's actually better than Cal. I'm not high on Boston College, though that we'll wedge them in between right there. And then the last game, Wake Forest at North Carolina. Jeff Collins ends up, he held Wake Forest to 3 points in the first half, but let them score 3 touchdowns in the second half. Bout got his ass beat, probably because he's doing 10 push-ups after a pick six. Yeah, if you didn't know that, Jeff Collins did 10 push-ups after a pick six that his defense got. He's probably going to make it more of a circus. If you didn't know, when he was a head coach at Tech, before we played Clemson, when they had Trevor Lawrence, he brings out weightlifting sets, has the players lifting weights as to, reach muscle exhaustion before a game. Jeff Collins is a freaking genius. He'll be sitting on his ass for a good while after this year. That whole staff's getting wiped. They're a bad team, but I do think they're better than all of these. North Carolina's been steadily moving their way up. Wake's bad. What is Wake now? 4-6? 4-6. We'll put them there. Stanford's got to move up too, though, don't they, after that win over Louisville? No, they don't. This is a power ranking. We know they're doo-doo. Rest of the teams were on a bye. Virginia Tech, I think, is playing above average. We're going to put them right there. Kind of a turnaround for them. Opening up with a loss to Vanderbilt, but then Vanderbilt's a decent team. Duke, what is Duke right now? They're what is their record? They're 7-3. Yeah, I think you can put them here. Are they an above average team though? I guess with respect to the rest of the teams, maybe they are. I think Georgia Tech's average, and I think they're playing better than Louisville right now. I think if they played Louisville, they would beat them. In fact, Georgia Tech has the same record as Louisville right now. NC State is awful. I think they're better than Wake, Boston College, and Stanford. That's probably a good place to put them. Obviously, for 1 week, we'll switch Miami and Clemson. Clemson played this week. They won. It wasn't the prettiest, but I'm still not so sure who would lose on a neutral site. We might get to see Clemson and Miami play at the end of the year and get all our questions answered. But I think that's our ranking. I'm sure you can switch some of these around. I know people in the comments like to comment like, oh, how could you do this? How could you do that? Because I don't take this all that serious. It's an excuse for me to talk about these teams. I do think SMU, Clemson, Miami, I think most people would have it like this. I don't think that's super arguable. Duke at 4 is probably arguable. The problem with the ACC right now is past these 3 teams, who is the 4th best team? I think you could make a case for any one of these teams to be the 4th best team. I really do. So we're going to leave it like that. We're going to have Duke at 4, Virginia Tech at 5, Stanford at 6, Pitt at 7, Georgia Tech at 8, Louisville at 9, North Carolina at 10, working their way up like the little engine that could. I said at 10, Virginia at 11, Cal at 12, NC State 13, Wake Forest 14, Boston College 15, Stanford 16, even with a win over Louisville. I mean, hell, they only got 2 ACC wins. But I tell you who has less than 2 ACC wins is Florida State. You get it. It makes me think of the first Joker. You get what you deserve. And damn it, a winless ACC season is exactly what Florida State deserves. Congratulations on making the Fran Browns fake outrage doo-doo list, Florida State. Y'all have a good one.